Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Anita Library. My name's Anita and today we are going to be having a very big haul. I'm going to be doing it in two parts because I have some more books coming, I think tomorrow and the next day, but just to break it up so I'm not here for forever, I'm just gonna get going. And I kind of want to put these books away because I got new bookshelves up. I don't know if that video is going to be up before or after, but I have reorganized my bookshelves. They're in the same kind of method as they were before. I just got new bookshelves. Stay tuned if you're interested in see what I have. I have tons of different genres, some new things to me, kind of stepping outside of my comfort zone, or some old favorites that I had interest in before, and I'm just kind of reigniting them. So if you have interest, please consider subscribing to my channel and giving the video a thumbs up if you actually end up liking it, so I know to do more like this in the future. Other than that, let's get into the haul. So first up I'll have romance, and these are the YA romances. So I kind of went on a binge of Nicola Yoon's books. I've never read any of them, but I got three. First is Instructions for Dancing, and this is about a girl who takes like dancing lessons with this young guy, and it's kind of an unexpected romance or whatever, but it's supposed to be like super sweet and adorable, and I guess a little heart-wrenching as well. It doesn't look like it because the cover is just so sweet, but I'm very interested in this guy. Next I have Everything, also by Nicola Yoon. This has been made into a movie, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't seen it, so I'm not entirely sure what this is about, but I think it's also gut-wrenching. So we'll see about that. And these are like super quick reads. Like there's kind of like illustrations or art or like text and stuff like that in the books, so it kind of breaks up the book a little bit. So I don't think this would be difficult to get through at all, especially considering it's YA. And then finally I have The Sun Is Also a Star, everybody's least favorite thing, a sticker that's not a sticker ruining the cover of my book, but it's fine. This one I also don't know too much about it, but it says a girl believes in science and facts, not fate, and then a guy who's always been the good son, the good student, living up to his parents' high expectations, and I guess they kind of cross paths in some way, shape, or form. But I think this is also a sweet little romance. Finally, I have One True Loves by Elise Bryant. There is another book that is like more raved about than this one by Elise Bryant. I can't remember the name of it, but I don't believe I've read a book of hers just yet. I think I have another one on my shelf, but it just looks super cute. Like she looks, I don't know, kind of lonely, kind of pensive, like she's like going on a trip with the suitcase and everything. So I don't know. It seems, I'll take a chance on that one. And I'm pretty sure I got like a couple of those on sale, so that kind of tipped the scale for me. If I was like halfway on the fence about being interested, if it was on sale, I'm like, nah. Then we have the adult romances. I kind of struggled a bit to put this one, American Marriage by Tayari Jones, because I know I have another book of hers, Silver Sparrow, that is YA, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a few years since I read it, but I thought it was YA. And then also I couldn't tell, I mean, granted it talks about marriage, but I couldn't tell if this was heavier on the romance or just a contemporary fiction. I believe it follows a woman whose husband like ends up going to jail for some years, and she ends up kind of falling for their best man as they've been, you know, she hasn't been with her husband in years and years and years, and they kind of lean on one another, and I think they end up falling in love. And he gets out of prison, and then she's like, oh, okay, what am I supposed to do now? Like, do I stay with my husband because I'm committed to him, or do I follow my heart because I've now kind of invited in this, my friend? So there's that one. Then I got a book by Jasmine, Guillory, Royal Holiday. I am, as silly as it sounds, I am gearing up to get my holiday reads. I love holiday reads. I love like cozy. I am a sucker for holiday books and Hallmark books, or like movies or vibes and stuff. I love holiday time, so I'm trying to like get my collection of holiday books ready for the holiday season. So just because it's summer doesn't mean I can't get ready for the winter time. So, and she's a very like cozy author for me. I've read 2 books of hers and I have 2 more now, and they don't disappoint, so I'm really excited about this one. Next up, I got Sweet Tea by Piper Huguley. This is Hallmark Publishing, which I didn't even know they had like a book publishing company. So just off of that alone, you can kind of tell what vibes this is giving already. I believe this is about a woman who like goes down to her grandma's house in the South, and her grandma has like a man who is working there, because he has a passion for cooking, and the grandma has a passion for cooking as well, but like the woman thinks that like the young man is like trying to steal her grandma's recipes and stuff like that. So I guess they're kind of trying to uncover that, but there's like a love story involved, obviously, because they're like holding hands, and it's interracial if I'm not mistaken. So that is my next romance read. So that is my next romance read for adults, and that's all I have for romance. Next up, we have my YA fantasy. I don't know that I've read an adult fantasy book yet. Before the end of the year, that would be my goal, to read an adult fantasy. First up, I got my first Twisted Tale. I was talking to you guys about like having great interest in the Twisted Tale series, but I just hadn't bit the bullet, and I ended up getting Tale as Old as Time. The little blurb says, "What if Belle's mother cursed the beast?" And this one is by Liz Braswell. The Twisted Tale series has so many authors who like write for it, so it varies from author to author, but this one seemed really interesting. Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite Disney movies. I was in Beauty and the Beast in high school. I was a plate. But it fills me with such joy to be able to say that. So yeah, I'm really interested in reading this guy. And these are really cheap. They're like $9, $10. $11. It's not $11. It's kind of a chonker, but the font is pretty big and it seems like a decent read. Next up, I got Children of Virtue and Vengeance now, and I'll talk about these 2 at the same time. And I also got Bloodmarked. I purchased the first book in both of these series. I have not yet read the first book in both of these series, but I am confident that I will enjoy them enough to keep it going, and if I don't, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But these, I have great interest in reading them. I think this one is kind of like witchy vibes. It also has like some modern social issues in it, so I'm really interested to see how that plays out as far as like mixing in like the magicalness of it. And I think it's a dark academia. That was what I was trying to describe in my other video. I was saying like, oh, like private schools where there's like magic and fantasy and like witchiness and darkness and stuff like that. Dark academia, that I will eat up, or it grabs me. Like I want to see what that's talking about. So yeah, I got Bloodmarked by Tracy Dion, and then Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. These are the sequels to their respective series or whatever, and I haven't read them yet, but I will. Then I got Side. I'd seen this book, and I've seen people like out and about reading this book, and it just never occurred to me to see what it was actually about. This book sounds so freaking cool. Okay, so I won't read the blurb. I try not to, and I try to put in my own words if I'm gonna try, but this is about a society. I think it's like dystopian. It's about a society that is like in the future, and science has evolved to the point that death like doesn't happen, or if it does happen, you can just like regenerate and then you know, live on another life. But the only way people can die is if they have been killed by a scythe, who are like trained assassins or something like that, or not assassins, but like unalivers, I guess. So that sounded really interesting. And then like they have to like, has to be justified of some sort, I think. Like I think there's like a morality type of conflict in this. So, and this is a series as well, so hopefully I really like this because the premise sounds so interesting. Next I have Blood Debts by Terry J. Benton Walker. I really truly don't know what this is about. I saw someone on book social media talking about this, and I was like, that sounds interesting enough. Okay, let's see. In New Orleans, gods, metal, and magic will betray you, but this time justice will reign. Okay, so that is another like theme that will get me. Like New Orleans, magic, voodoo, like Black history, family ties. Yes, and this is a part of a series too. This is book 1, of course. So I am very interested. So that's all I have for fantasy. Next up, it gets kind of, I didn't know where to put these. So this is a YA book. It's called Piecing You Together by Renee Watson. I've had my eye on this a couple of times. It's a kind of coming of age story, and I think a lot of Black women and young Black girls can relate to this because it's about a young Black girl who's like, her mom has like high expectations for her. She's like, you can be anything, but I want you to be like the best of the best, and like a doctor, a lawyer type situation. And she's like, but mom, what if that's not what I want? I'm conflicted about that, but in the meantime, like, I'm gonna go to this like prestigious school and, you know, take advantage of the opportunities and the possibilities here. But now I'm here, I don't quite fit in, and I'm just resentful in a way of like having to go through this journey because you want what's best for me, but it doesn't feel good like the journey doesn't, as a young woman. So it's just kind of like understanding life and coming of age and life lessons and stuff like that. And it seems like a pretty quick read as well. Next, I have 3, I would call them like contemporary fiction books, I think. Maybe, I'm not sure. Let's just see. This is New Boy by Tracy Chevalier. And this guy is about a young boy. He arrives at, it says here, Tracy Chevalier brings Shakespeare's harrowing drama of jealousy and revenge to a 1970s era elementary school playground. So this is a retelling of Othello. To be honest with you, I've never read Othello. The only Shakespeare I've ever read in high school, which was a minute ago, was Romeo and Juliet and Macbeth. I know the story of Romeo and Juliet on Macbeth. So I don't know anything about Othello, and I started to like dip my toe into the works of Shakespeare when I got to another section of the library I'll talk about in a minute, but I want to be honest with myself. And if I am gonna dip my toe into it, it's not gonna be in the near future, so I left them at the store. But if you know Othello, this is a retelling of that, modern retelling, well, a 1970s retelling of that, and it speaks about racism and just those complexities, especially for young kids, which I feel like it might be a little bit tough to read, but it seems like a short book, so pick that up. And then there was Me by Sadika Johnson. I've read one book of hers, and I enjoyed it very much. I was gonna say it was like heartwarming, but I felt it. I don't know how to, it didn't make me quite cry. It wasn't like a warm hug. It was real, and I felt it. it hit me, I resonated with it. So I definitely, just from that one book, I feel like she's an auto-buy author. I have another book of hers on my shelf, but I picked this one up. I'm not entirely sure what it's about, but like I said, she's kind of an auto-buy for me, and I went with it. I think it's about two sisters, or no, best friends. They're best friends, and it says it's a heart-rending story of love and friendship, heartache and betrayal. So I'm here for that in a book. Next up, I got Butterfly by Ashley Internet. I've seen this book for quite a while. It's gorgeous. I think butterflies are adorable. I'm pretty sure I have some butterflies in my sleeve tattoo somewhere. The back has a blurb from Essence Magazine that says, "Caution will leave you breathless. It's that intense." And I guess it's about the woman Morgan. She said her mom or someone told her, "Run away from the boy that gives you butterflies. He's going to break your heart." And I guess she does the opposite of that, and we kind of see how that unfolds. But come on, like, as a woman, I'm a lover, okay? I'm a lover. As a lover and a woman, I guarantee you I'm not gonna run away from the person who gives me butterflies. What are you talking about? So I just kind of want to see how this unfolds. Next, I have two books that are historical fiction. I think New Boy could have been historical fiction, but it's also like retelling. So like I said, I didn't know where to put those as far as category. These guys are definitely historical fiction. One of them is like sci-fi historical fiction. So this is Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. I have had this on my want to read list for years, okay, years. And I just haven't picked it up. I haven't been ready. I'm ready. This is about a woman, Dana, who's 26-year-old, and she kind of time jumps between 1976 California and 1800s Maryland in the time of slavery. And I guess she rescues like a white guy and sees how that affects her current timeline, because it's interconnected with some of her family members, and we just kind of see how that plays out, because obviously like things that happen in the past have ramifications for what happens in the future, and like she can't mess up too much going back in time, or she can't alter too much going back into time. So we'll see. And this person, it says here, kind of has ties or like relationships or influences one way or the other for Children of Blood and Bone, which is one of the series of fantasy books that I have here. So I guess if you like that, you'll probably like this. If you like this, you'll probably like that. So we'll see. Then next I have Liberty. It's spelled differently. Liberty by Caitlin Greenidge. This one is a coming of age story. Okay, I'll just read the top blurb here. This is a historical novel, magical novel, familial novel. All right, just kidding. I thought I was gonna tell about the entire story. It's historical fiction, coming of age. Oh, this sounds very similar to, oh crud, where did it go? To the Piecing Me Together book. The premise sounds kind of identical. So it's like coming of age and trying to find where you belong in life, what your passion is, where your place is, and what you're willing to sacrifice for that. If I'm not mistaken, I don't want to sit here and read it, but I think she wants to become, or if her mom was a doctor. Okay, yeah. Or her family wants her to be a doctor or whatever. So yeah, I think this is going to be interesting. Obviously I have a type. Next I have a nonfiction. It's called Remember Love by Cleo Wade. And I was in the bookstore. I actually went to I Am Blacklit in Dallas. They are a Black-owned, the only, or at least the first Black-owned bookstore in Dallas, in the Dallas area. and they have a very curated, very powerful set of children's books, fiction books, memoirs, nonfiction, all written by Black authors, all telling Black stories. And they have a book club. I mean, they have like events throughout the week. It's special events. I believe Bryant has been there for a special event, and I went down there probably like 3 weeks ago or so, and I just caught the vibes, and I sat there and I read my book on my Kindle. I bought like 4 books or so, and this was one of them. The worker, I think he's like a co-owner or at least a manager. He was telling me how he and his girlfriend like kind of read excerpts from this often, and it was just like a warm hug. And like, and his girlfriend is the owner of the shop, I know that much. And they were just, if you need a hug from a book, this is it. And it's just very sweet. It says, some things to remember: we can love ourselves through a hard time. Our spirits are soft but durable. Our love belongs to us at our sturdiest and our most fragile. Our lives are bigger than whatever noise surrounds us, and clear days are usually what follow our storms. When we remember this, we remember love, we remember our wings, we remember we can fly. And I just thought, like, I opened up to like a random page and I was like, oh yeah, I could use this from time to time. Next up, I have like a set of like classics, if you want to call them that. So I got Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I have watched the movie. It was powerful. It was heartbreaking, obviously, as a reader. Like, how's this happening? But I haven't read the book, and I really, really want to. Obviously, this is dystopian. It's like set way in the future. I want to say like 2050 something or 2250 something. I don't know. But I feel like any reader probably has caught wind of this or has interest in this, or probably should. Then I got some Greek mythology / Roman mythology books. I picked up this one. These are all kind of on sale. This one is Greek and Roman myths and legends, and it has like everything from like the gods and like the stories of such and such, and like smaller characters, and it's written in English, if you know what I mean. You're talking like Greek mythology, like, but sometimes it's like, what are you even saying? Like, you need a translator, and it has been translated in a digestible sense, and I feel like this is something that I'll probably like pick up and like read a story or so every once in a while when I have the interest. But this is really cool, and it has Medusa on the cover. Then I picked up the Iliad and the Odyssey. Ooh, girl, turn around. The Iliad and the Odyssey. So I've read the Odyssey in high school, and I freaking loved it. Any like Odyssey retelling, like Percy Jackson, eat it up. Like, I freaking loved it. But I've never read the Iliad, and these are kind of, again, written in contemporary language in a way that you can kind of easily understand and digest. So, and this is translated by, let me just tell you, because there's tons and tons of translations. Brian Busby, he did both of these. So the Iliad comes first. I really can't even tell you what it's about, but I do know the Odyssey, and this is the like epic journey of Odysseus finding his way home after war. This might be the war, I don't know, but I definitely want to read these. Next, I have thrillers. This is a YA thriller. Technically, like, it's sold in the YA section, but if you've read any Tiffany D. Jackson, you know it's a fine line, okay? Because her stuff hits. It hits deep, and some of it, like most, I think all of it is written like about children and like what awful things happen to children. And I think like as a teen, yes, you can kind of resonate with it, but like more so as an adult, like a parent, that stuff hits, man. It hits. And this one, I'm gonna tell you what it's about, and you're gonna know, like, you're gonna pick up what I'm putting down. It says, Mary B. Addison killed a baby, allegedly, when she was 9. So the name of the book I didn't even tell you is called Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson, and it follows the young woman, Mary B. Addison. I think she's like 15 or 16 at this time, and everyone around her kind of like walks on eggshells because they know or think they know that she killed the baby and why and all that, and we kind of just see what happened. And I'm scared. Not scared because it's a thriller and like it's going to actually scare me, but like her book be having me messed up, like hurt, like physically hurting by what's happening to these kids. I'm not ready. I'm really not ready for that. That needs to be bookend with a fluffy read. The Jasmine Guillory bookending Tiffany D. Jackson, because I can't. And then I have Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. I think this is like a podcasty type of thriller. What if you thought you murdered your best friend and everyone else thought so too? And what if the truth doesn't matter? I don't know. I've had this on my I want to read this list since I got back into reading at the beginning of the year, and I see it literally every time I go to the bookstore, and finally I just picked it up. Finally, I got The Deep Dark by Molly Knox Ostertag. This is a graphic novel. Some of it is in color, some of it isn't, most of it's black and white. This is a bigger graphic novel. It says everyone has a secret. Mag's secret has teeth. Magdalena Herrera is about to graduate from high school, but she already feels like an adult with serious responsibilities, caring for her ailing grandmother, step. Then there's this secret which pulls her into the basement each night, drains her of her energy, and leaves her bleeding. A secret that could hurt and even kill if it ever got out, like it did once before. So it's like a thriller graphic novel. Yes, and I'm happy that I actually purchased this and it's not rented from the library, because I have rented from the library 5 graphic novels. I've read like 1 1/4. Because I'm a little reader, and then they give you so much time and I have to turn them back in. I'm just like, never got around to them. But I can take my time with this, and it's big. This is big, but I have interest. And look at the cover, they're so cute. They're so cute. Okay, so that is it for now. I have another set of books that I'm anticipating receiving in the next day or 2. I'll come back with that portion. Okay, so I got the rest of my haul in, so I'm just gonna get right into it. I have Finding Jupiter by Elise. Look at that cover, it's so pretty. It is about Ryan and Orion. Girl, I can't read. Ray and Orion, Jesus. And they are kind of struggling in their own way, trying to push through some kind of grief or heartbreak, whatever, and they find their way to each other in a kind of dark time for one another, and they're just, it's like a beacon of hope for one another, I'm assuming. One of the blurbs here says, self-affirming and deeply moving. Ro tenderly reminds us that it takes courage to love and love to heal. So this is really, really adorable. Next, I have A Love Like the Sun by Rhys M. Nielsen. That's gorgeous. Like, come on, covers. This one is about Lanaya Thompson and Isaac. I think they were like best friends when they were children or younger or whatnot. And yeah, they've been best friends since childhood, and she ends up getting into a bit of trouble like with her career, and somehow, some way and he's like really famous, or he's really famous. They mentioned paparazzi. Somehow, some way, them pretending to be in love or be a couple would help her out of her dilemma. So they have a friends to lovers / like fake dating trope, and I think I enjoy both of those. Fake dating, I don't know, it's probably not my favorite, but Friends to Lovers is. And come on, like it just looks so pretty and swoony. Let's see, one of the blurbs here says, actually the one on the front is by Emily Henry, raw, vulnerable, breath-stealing love. And I can't wait to get into that. That sounds like a feel-good, like cozy read. Next I have a Mimi Grace book. I've heard so many things about Mimi Grace. Her books are really short and they get right to the point. They give you everything you need. There's a little bit of spice, some love. They're about black couples more often than not. She's got a diverse body style, like come on, curves, boobs, hair, just, yeah, she looks so happy, and he just looks like he has thoughts. And this is a small town romance, and I want to like small town romances. I've read 2 and they weren't my favorite. They weren't my favorite at all. And I won't even hold you. It's because some of it was because of the small town setting. So I'll see how I feel about this, but I do want to get the rest of her books. I know there's 3 more that I want to get. And I think this is book 3 in a series, and I don't have the first 2, so whoops. But there's Make a Scene, What a Match, this one, Take a Hike, that's in a series, and then a standalone is Along for the Ride, and I want all of them. So I plan to make a Barnes and Noble order, or if you guys know of any indie bookstores, like online bookstores or maybe black-owned bookstores that sell Mimi Grace, I would be elated to support one of them. I just don't know any. I know I know 2 small women-owned bookstores, and neither of them have Mimi Grace. They don't have a large inventory, so it's kind of, they're limited, and I understand. I totally understand, but if I can, I will support small bookstores. But yeah, I got my first Mimi Grace. Then I got On Rotation by Charlene Huguley. I have had this on my want to read list all year. I just could never find it. Every time I go to the bookstore, I look for it, I ask them if they have it in stock, and it always ends up being like you have to order it type situation. So when that happens, and I know that the book is only something that I can get online, I kind of wait until I have a few, and then I make like a big order, which is what I just did. So this ended up coming home with me. It's on rotation. Like I said, it is about a doctor, as you can imagine. Her name is Angela, and it says she's checked off all of the boxes for the perfect immigrant daughter, enroll in an elite medical school, snag a suitable lawyer, doctor, engineer boyfriend, surround himself with a gaggle of successful and or loyal friends. But then life starts lifing, things start taking a turn for the worse, and she's just in a quarter-life crisis, so it says. And then I'm not sure how he's intertwined into it, but she meets a man named Ricky, who also has waistmen practically tattooed across his forehead, which I love. How I think she's Nigerian, or she's Ghanaian. But I read what's the book by Honey and Spice, and they say waistman all throughout the book, and the audio person for that book is phenomenal. I don't know her name, but I just fell in love with the term waistman. Like instead of F-boy, it's waistman, and I have to say it like that, waistman. Anyways, Ricky, this guy, apparently has a waistman written on his forehead, so she's like apprehensive about like going for him, whatever, but apparently love wants to love, and we'll see how that goes. But I don't think I've read a Dr. Romance. A little bit. The man was a doctor, and we saw a little bit of his doctorness. It was in Jasmine Guillory's The Wedding Date. But main character being a doctor, I haven't read that. And it's a person of color, an African American person. Ghanaian American, I was supposed to say African American. But yeah, I finally got my hands on that, and that's all we have for romance. Then I have the most beautiful book cover I probably have ever seen, or that I own anyways. by Nicola Yoon, and I just finished, fun fact, like, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes ago, just finished my first Nicola Yoon book, Instructions for Dancing. It's a YA book. It was so everything. If you see streaks of tears, you don't, okay? It was great, and I highly recommend. It'll be my wrap up. But anyways, this one is called One of Our Kind. Tell me this isn't the most beautiful book you've ever seen. Come on. Like, do you even want to know what it's about? Do you care? Because look. This is, and also along with the being the most beautiful cover I've probably ever seen, it has like a premise that I feel like I will eat up because I love this type of stuff. So I'm gonna tell you. Get Out meets The Stepford Wives in #1 New York Times best-selling author Nicola Yoon's first adult novel. It's her first adult novel, it's not YA. A terrifying and provocative look at one woman's quest to build a perfect life for her family and at what it means to be truly free in America. I have the greatest amount of interest in this. I love the Stepford Wives movie. It was another book, like It's Okay Darling or something like that. It's not a book, it's a movie, I'm sorry. Or it could be a book, I just don't know that definitively. But it's a movie called like It's Okay Darling or You're Okay Darling or something like that. And it's Stepford Wives-y. And I loved it. It was sci-fi. So I have wondered, it says Get Out, and has Get Out like undertakings or whatever. So I wonder if it's sci-fi-y as well, which I have interest in. And it's about trying to be like the perfect mom, the perfect wife. And if you know, you know, there's a lot of pressure. I don't know if it's like internationally, but definitely in America for women, mothers, to be perfect in everything that they do, be it being a mom, being a wife, and being a career woman, or balancing those if that is what she chooses to do and not put all of her eggs in one basket. It is an extreme amount of guilt if you do choose to balance those, and sometimes women just feel like they wish they had the formula, or they wish that there was a button they could push and be the perfect everything. And I wonder if that's what this is going to explore. So I'm very, very interested in reading this. I'm gonna give her a minute because like I said, I just read one of her books and I don't wanna cry right now. So I'm gonna put this on the shelf for now, but I will definitely be getting to this one soon. And then I didn't intend to get two books kind of similarly, but this one is by Jasmine Chan. It is The School for Good Mothers. And this one is obviously also about being a good mother. It is about Freedom Yu. She's a Chinese immigrant, or she's a child of Chinese immigrants. And she has a child named Harriet. And she wants to be a good mom, of course. She's trying to do the best that she can while balancing the rest of her responsibilities. And I think something happens. Maybe there's like a mistake on the playground or something like that, and her child gets injured. And then Big Brother gets involved and throws her into this type of camp or a school for good mothers. It's like a finishing school of sorts to kind of make it to like breed out perfect robot moms, and so that they don't have mistakes like she did, and you kind of have to pass to get your kid back. And it sounds awful. It sounds awful. One of the blurbs here from Oprah.com says, an intense, unputdownable debut, this person's debut, that will doubtless spark conversation about what makes a good or bad mother. Someone else, Liz Moore, says, this book is like nothing I've read before. The School for Good Mothers is haunting and unforgettable, and I'm in awe of Jasmine Chan's mind. I'm so interested. I'm so interested. I feel like this is going to be upsetting. I feel like this is gonna be upsetting, so, and I don't wanna be upset. So I'm going to, again, put this on the shelf. but I have a few upsetting books, to be honest with you. But I know I'm going to get something out of it. I know I'm going to get something out of that. So that is all of the books that I bought here recently. I won't tell you how recently, but just know that it was recently. And I'm really excited. I think I'm learning my reading style, my reading preference, the types of vibes I'm in, the types of tropes and synopses that I like, and things that will hook me in from beginning to end. I've learned how to pick a good book, at least when I'm in the store, that I will kind of want to stick to, and that might be a good read for me. So I'm falling more and more in love with reading, and of course I'm falling more and more in love with buying books and growing my collection, and I'm just really excited to get into some of these. So like I said, I just finished a book by Nicola, Yoon, Instructions for Dancing, and one of my favorite things to do is pick out my next read. So that is what I'm getting ready to do. Hopefully you enjoyed this book haul and you found some inspiration from some of the things that I've shared with you. From what I've shared with you, if you think of something that you think I might like or I might be interested in based on what I've already read or what I've just picked up, please leave your suggestions down below. I cannot help myself from expanding my book preferences and learning more about myself, learning more about life through books. So if you have anything that you think I might like, please leave them down in the comments, and I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing before you go, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.